the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello there again, and welcome, race fans. Welcome to the RFC Throwback Series. Hello, everybody. I am Cody Early in the seat again with you tonight as we get ready to kick off what is another awesome throwback night of racing. And tonight, it is true when it comes to throwback racing. It is North Wilkesboro. Welcome, everyone, to the RFC Throwback Series on your home for the Throwback Series, the Turn 3 Racing Network. Of course, it is brought to you by our friends at Ohio and Indiana Roofing, and of course, Blackhawk Motorsports. Well, a couple of things have happened since the last time I were with you. We've seen Steve Baker go to victory lane twice now, and then, of course, last week, we saw a driver pick up a very first win at Darlington. The Lady in Black held true in the Trans-South 110 as we had Dustin German go to victory lane in his 28 machine. Steve Baker finished second and Brian Littleton third. It is the Throwback Series, and as always, we thank you for joining us here on such an amazing evening as we get ready for another throwback race. Hello and welcome. Once again, as always, you can check out the Turn 3 Racing Network on Facebook and, of course, YouTube. Make sure you hit the bell as we get ready for racing here this evening. So far, they are on final practice session here at North Wilkesboro, and estimated about 8:20 will go fast time qualifying. As of right now, look into the garage. Looks like we have got 16 drivers registered for this evening's event. So going to be a great race and a good night of classic race car driving, and it is always fun to see these classic cars go to work as we're going to hop out onto the racetrack now and take a look at one of our drivers in the 57 machine. That is Damon Cox. And, of course, you know, you recognize the classic schemes, and a lot of folks at home notice these classic cars stand out. Some of the paint schemes they run on these things, absolutely amazing. Of course, Damon Cox, as you can see there, rocking the autism colors. And as always, you know, ride with your favorite. If you got a favorite you want to point out, you can always give them a shout out on our YouTube page as well as we get ready for this evening's race. It's going to be a lot of fun. This Throwback Series, always a pleasure to come to you. First time I've been with you in a few weeks, and excited to be back behind the mic as we get ready for racing again here at North Wilkesboro. The countdown to qualifying is on. It'll only be a matter of minutes before we get ready to see who is going to be able to take the top spot. And we return, we get you closer, we get you set up as we creep closer to qualifying. It's the RFC Throwback Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
He hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the Parabolka. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the Parabolka. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Welcome to North Wilkesboro. We are getting ready for our 4th race in the RFC Throwback Series. As we mentioned, Steve Baker, a 2-time winner in the series. Dustin German, a winner in our last outing at Darlington. Tonight we get ready for the first Union 160 here from a classic and a historic speedway. Absolutely one of my favorite racetracks we're going to see all year long. And as we get ready for this race this evening, we're going to continue to see obstacles. We're going to continue to see short track racing for these racetrack drivers. But this is exactly the tracks that you think about when you go into these classic race cars. And as we get ready to take a look at our race info up on the screen, North Wilkesboro, one of my favorite places, half mile. Today, it is a hot one, 95 degrees outside this afternoon. So, yes, these cars are going to see a very intense, a very heated track temperature, which could mean some very interesting tire wear as we carry through the evening. The guy that has been on the hot seat, so to speak, has been Steve Baker. He has by far been the dominant driver. There he sits in his 55 machine. He has, well, really been dominant so far this season as he has picked up the 2 wins so far earlier this year. He continues to be what I feel like one of the smoothest drivers, to say the least, in that number 55 machine, as he will continue to try and possibly pick up his third race win of the series. There you see a little bit of action going on the racetrack. Still looking for possibly, now it looks like 17 drivers going to clock in as we count down close to inside time for qualifying, roughly about 4 minutes away from getting qualifying underway. This is Matthew McMeekin. You see him there in that 14 machine, that Busch ride. Love seeing the throwback paint schemes on some of these cars as well, as we'll get to see that throughout the evening, and hopefully some really good racing coming here from North Wilkesboro. As you look around the racetrack, you notice on the inside, a lot of these cars are going to work that bottom groove, or right there about a half a groove up from the bottom. You see a curb. Now, you might not think about much, but if you think about Martinsville Speedway, that curb is just about as intense as what you see at Martinsville. So that could affect a lot of things. It could totally change how a car handles, and especially as you go through these turns. And once we get these cars spread out in single file, it could definitely change the momentum. It could change the course of that race car, and could cause for some interesting events throughout the night. Some of the other drivers out on the racetrack, we see the 49 there of Justin Walters in his Chevrolet. Awesome, supporting those pink colors this weekend in his Hockey Fight Cancer machine. Love seeing that, the Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in October. Some of the other drivers will skim through and get the camera crew to show the folks. Dark Side Dave, that's right, Dark Side Dave in the cave. He's out there in the 25 machine, going to turn some laps. Good to see the Turn 3 Racing Network on the side of that black and red number 25 machine. Well, the countdown is on to qualifying, and as I say that, they're in my ear telling me we're going to go to one more commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to see who can set the fast time for tonight's first Union 160 RFC Throwback Series race from North Wilkesboro.
Start of today's 400 lap race on this 0.625 mile racetrack. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 9 Coors Ford qualifying and Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. His second win of 1987.
Welcome to North Wilkesboro, where we get ready for fast time qualifying for tonight's First Union 160. Hello, Cody Early with you in the booth, the Turn 3 Racing Network. We are ready to go qualifying, fast time qualifying for our fourth race of the 2020 season, the RFC Throwback Series. We're going to jump right out there to the racetrack. Steve Baker in his 55 machine actually just come off from running a fast time. We'll see if we can catch some of the other drivers. Damon Cox actually slowing down as well. Fast time so far, it looks like on top of the leaderboard, it is, well, no surprise, Steve Baker. He is quickest right now atop of the leaderboard with a 19:19. Right on his heels, though, looks like we're going to see the number 87 of Ryan Nolan. Last week's winner, love the colors, the throwback, Davey Allison, 28 of Dustin German. He puts down a fast time, 7th quickest. He goes 19:50. 19:50 for Dustin German. So far, it is Steve Baker holding down the top spot. He has the fastest time right now. Looks like Justin Grigsby. He's going to get out onto the racetrack. We'll see if we can't follow him for his fast time lap. As he works his way off of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway here at North Wilkesboro. Down into turn 1, you see, trying to get it slowed down. That's going to be something else to keep an eye on. Diving off into these turns as they work their way across. You see him all the way up to 115 mile an hour at the end of the straightaway. He rolls it off of turn 4. We'll see where he stacks up as he comes to the line this time. And Ryan Rigsby is going to go all the way to the top. He's the first driver to get into the 18-second range. So how about that? The 99 of Justin Rigsby. He goes fast time and goes to the top of the board. Dustin German, he is out there putting down another lap. We will see if he picks up any on his second lap. No, he does not. So he will stay at a 19:50. That's going to have him 8th place. Ryan Nolan supporting the 87. He is out there 3rd quickest so far in qualifying. It looks like he is going to wind things down. No, he's still hammering down off of turn 2. Down the back straightaway here at North Wilkesboro. He dives off into turns 3 and 4. And off of turn 4, we'll see if the 87 can improve on that 19:20. And no, he does not. Not any faster on that lap. So there's Dave Worrells in the 25. Darkside Dave. Number 25 Turn 3 Racing Network machine will go inside. Let's take a look inside if we can with our Turn 3 Racing Network cameras. Inside, that's what it looks like. Just off of the right shoulder as Dave works off of turn 4. Up and down the front straightaway at about 117 miles an hour. He's going to dive it to the bottom, and Worrell's going to come in 12th quickest. He goes 20 flat. See if he can get anything off of lap number 2. Fading down to the bottom. Oh, it up onto that curve as Dave just kind of clips it enough, and that's going to totally slow down that lap. So it looks like Dave is going to jump out of the race car. So Darkside Dave looks like he may be starting this one from possibly back in that 12th spot. But as qualifying continues to roll through, looks like we've got 13 drivers on the board, but it is Justin Rigsby. You've seen that lap live. Right now, he has the fastest time. Looks like Ryan Nolan is out on the racetrack. Maybe he's going to try to improve on his 3rd place qualifying spot. Right now, the top 5, Justin Rigsby, Steve Baker, Ryan Nolan, Travis Smith, and Chris Legoo. That is your top 5 in qualifying. As Ryan Nolan out there again, we'll see if he gets any better that time. He does not. Still 3rd quickest for Ryan Nolan. And there he hammers into that outside wall off of turn 2, which is very easy to do here at North Wilkesboro. It looks like a real wide track, but the groove here at this racetrack, very narrow and very short, and you see him get real loose there off of turn 4. Dustin German, of course, he picked up his first win of the season at Darlington just one race ago. He is out there. Want to see if he can improve any. A 19:50, as I think he's backing that race car down, so I believe he's going to stick with that 9th place qualifying spot. Brian Snare, Matthew McMeekin, Dylan Blankenship, Eric Blunt, and Stephen Page yet to go out on the racetrack. And it looks like, oh, look here, historic number 43. It's Brian Snare out on the racetrack. We'll see what he can do as he works through 3 and 4. Love the paint scheme on this 43 machine. He'll go out for his first lap. Green flag in the air for the 43. Brian Snare about a groove off of that bottom and then squeezes down off of turn 2. He'll shoot down the back straightaway. We'll see what he can pick up here in lap number 1. Quick time qualifying for tonight's First Union 160 for the RFC Throwback Series. And off of turn 4, we'll see if Brian Snare can do anything. He jumps up into that 6th spot, so not bad for Brian Snare. 6th quickest. Almost lost it there off of turn number 2, so not bad for that 43 machine. Looks like other drivers are electing to possibly simply stay in the garage, so we will take one more break as qualifying gets ready to wrap up here from North Wilkesboro. You are watching the RFC Throwback Series. It is here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. So glad to have you here on a Tuesday evening. Of course, the RFC Throwback Series, it is presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing and Blackhawk Motorsports. We get closer to go time. It's Throwback Series Racing from North Wilkesboro on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We get ready for tonight's First Union 160 coming up.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the
Welcome to North Wilkesboro, where tonight it is race number 4 of the RFC Throwback Series, presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing, and of course, Blackhawk Motorsports. I am Cody Early with the Turn 3 Racing Network, and we are set and we are ready to bring you tonight's First Union 160. Let's meet our starting lineup. Starting on the front row in his number 99 fast time qualifier, Justin Rigsby. Starting to his outside in the number 55, it is Steve Baker. Row number 2 on the inside, it'll be the 87 of Ryan Nolan. To his outside in the number 95, it is Travis Smith. Starting inside of row number 3, it will be the 71 of Chris Legoo. To his outside in the 6th spot, the 43 of Brian Snare. In the 7th spot, in the number 9 machine, it'll be Dustin Ping. And to his outside, the 57 of Damon Cox. Dustin German will roll off 9th. To his outside, the number 1 of Stephen Page. Doug Wasaki will roll off in his 34 machine. In the 10th spot, it'll be Gordon Larson Jr. Dylan Blankenship will line up. Then it'll be Dave Worrells, Matthew McMeekin, Eric Blunt, Rick Hammond Jr., Chad Meadows, and Chris Legoo. That is your starting lineup. We are ready to go racing as it looks like the field starts to roll down the back straightaway, and we get ready for an exciting night. It is the First Union 160. It is race number 4 of the 2020 RFC Throwback Series. We appreciate you joining us here tonight as we get ready for 180 laps is what we'll do around this circuit here at North Wilkesboro. Classic racing. Some of my favorite racing we get to see all year, and we're going to see these drivers go at it tonight in some short track beating and banging. Darlington was last week. We saw a really good race at Darlington. Only 5 cautions for 20 laps. It was Dustin German going to victory lane. The guy that's been dominant in this series has been Steve Baker. He starts on the outside of the front row as the Ford Mustang pace car leads him off of turn number 4. It dives to pit road. It's go time for the RFC Throwback Series from North Wilkesboro. Baker has the advantage to the outside. He will creep down almost into the right front fender of Justin Rigsby. Rigsby has to straighten things out, and so far so good. We make it off of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Battle now for second. Rigsby has Nolan under him. Nolan has the preferred line. Everybody trying to sort towards the bottom here at North Wilkesboro, and just like that, we put 2 laps on the board. Sorting through the field as you see Nolan there. He is the green and blue car, the 87. He's shifted back to 3rd place now. He's under pressure. That is Travis Smith. Smith in that sharp-looking red and black. Number 95 is working off of turn 4. Now I see a side-by-side battle. One of our winners last time out at Darlington, Dustin German. He's starting to move up. He's gained 5 positions so far in the opening 3 laps. And right now, he's working on the back bumper of Dustin Ping as those drivers go down the back straightaway. We are at North Wilkesboro. Turn 3 Racing Network coverage. Oh, and hard contact. Brian Snare ricochets off the wall in turn 4. Doesn't look like too much damage, believe it or not. These old 87 Chevrolets and Ford Thunderbirds, they are tough, and there's Snare right back into the outside retaining wall. So we'll see if that 43 can get things kind of straightened out as he ducks down in front of, looks like right in front of Stephen Page as we put lap number 5 on the board. It is the guy out front that we've seen a lot out front. It's Steve Baker showing the way. Why don't you say we just go inside of that number 55 machine and see how he's making it look so easy as he cruises around the racetrack here at North Wilkesboro. As you see, working his hands, getting a good look there just off of his right shoulder, and you can just sense that car just kind of slides its way through the turn. It's exactly what's happening. Just steadily working on that wheel, and I'm telling you what, he has been one of the best so far in 2020 as Steve Baker continues to show the lead here at North Wilkesboro in front of Ryan Nolan, who is back in the 2nd spot. We'll take a look at some of the other battles as Dustin Ping now. He is on the outside of Dustin German. A couple of Dustins battling there for 4th and 5th as we work through this race here at North Wilkesboro. Turn 3 Racing Network, we appreciate you joining us. Lap 8 of our 180 scheduled here this evening. As you got your eye on right there, the 9 of Dustin Ping. He's now inside of the top 5. And look, coming here, one of my favorite drivers in the series, Damon Cox. He's got that 57 machine dialed in. One of our veterans, let's say that, of the group. And right now he's hunting to try to get into the top 5, and he's all over the back bumper of our Darlington winner, and that is Dustin German. Some other drivers we look back through the field. David Worrells, he is making his way. He's gained 2 spots since the green flag came out. I was looking at some of our other drivers throughout the field. You got Eric Blunt right there in that beautiful number 6 machine right in front of him. And look at the classic, Matthew McMeekin running the Busch Light colors here at North Wilkesboro. 10 laps in so far as we continue to see these drivers work around this half-mile short track, and it is all Steve Baker so far. He has been dominant right now out front of Ryan Nolan, Travis Smith, and Dustin Ping. That is your current top 5 as you see that 55 machine working around the racetrack. Not a bad ride at all, especially for this part of the event. And you can kind of see these drivers work through. And if you're thinking about pit strategy, well, a rough surface here at North Wilkesboro. This is one of the classic surfaces that we go to in the series. And I really feel like we'll see maybe some tire wear rather quickly as these drivers working around this short track here at North Wilkesboro. But it's all Steve Baker for the moment right now as Damon Cox looks like he has made a move on Dustin Ping. May have actually moved Ping up the racetrack. See if we can't take a look at that. Yeah, here we go. See Cox to the bottom and a little bit of help. Well, it was Brian Snare that actually helped get Damon Cox by Dustin Ping. So, yeah, a little bit of bumping and shoving. Well, that's what it's all about here in the Throwback Series. The RFC Throwback Series presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing and our friends at Blackhawk Motorsports as Damon Cox still continuing to cruise his way into that 4th spot. Just ahead of him, a driver we don't get to see a lot of. That is Travis Smith. Smith's got that 95 machine dialed in, and one of our normally a dirt track racer showing his edge on the asphalt side of things here on this Tuesday night. But he's starting to close in on Ryan Nolan, and what Nolan's done is start to put a little bit of pressure on our leader, Steve Baker. He is out front, but not by much, as it looks like Ryan Nolan has started to close in on that 55 machine. We'll see if we can't go high atop the North Wilkesboro Speedway and give you a really good look at these two as they work around and down the back straightaway. One of the most iconic, one of the most famous speedways here at North Wilkesboro, and I'm telling you what, always exciting racing as we now have cars officially all the way around this half mile. But it is Steve Baker showing the way, 17 laps of our 180 complete as he's trying to hang on to that lead as he continues to have Ryan Nolan in his rearview mirror. Travis Smith in the 3rd spot, Damon Cox in 4th, and Brian Snare rounding out the top 5. One of the drivers we haven't talked about, he's been moving rather quickly through the field, Dylan Blankenship. In his 05 machine, he's gained 5 spots as he works on the back bumper there of Eric Blunt, and they both look to try to squeeze out Matthew McMeekin, and that battle is for 10th through 12th. As you notice, these drivers wanting the bottom of the racetrack. So important to have the preferred line, and McMeekin a little bit out of the groove there. Shakes it up just a little as he is, going to get freight trained once again. It looks like Dylan Blankenship's going to follow Eric Blunt, and it's going to drop McMeekin back into that 12th spot. So as we see the race and the battle there for 10th, 11th, and 12th, we'll go back up to the front, and Steve Baker has a consistent lead, still holding on to that advantage over Ryan Nolan. Nolan really started to dial him in there about 10 laps ago, but it looks like now starting to settle things out, as we have seen some exciting racing. Of course, Baker, the big winner at Daytona to kick off the season, then Atlanta, and then, of course, it was Dustin German coming away with the win at Darlington. And now North Wilkesboro, Steve Baker still out front. 21 solid green flag laps, very hard to do, as we've got 18 of the best RFC Throwback Series drivers on the racetrack, and they are duking it out for 160 miles. It's the first Union 160, but it's 180 laps to complete the feature. Another driver we haven't showed you much of, the Exalta 01 of Gordon Larson Jr. Larson down 2 spots from the initial green flag, but a driver that totally pulled the parachute was the guy that sat on the pole. Yeah, and Justin Rigsby. Not really sure what happened. I know there towards the beginning of the race we saw him fade back, and it looks like he might have either dropped to the back or had some trouble. Trying to check and see if we still have him on the lead lap. We'll take a look at the other countdown. Let you look at it this way. see where maybe your favorite driver might be working through at least the top 19. As high into that outside wall almost was Chris Legou. He got way up there in the marbles. But you can take a look there, possibly see where your favorite driver is running as Steve Baker, Ryan Nolan, Travis Smith, Damon Cox, and Brian Snare hold down the top 5 here at North Wilkesboro. We continue to show you green flag racing simply because these drivers have put down 25 solid green flag laps, and Steve Baker has been the man on the point, but now he's in all kinds of pressure now. Here comes Ryan Nolan. Nolan on the back bumper, right up to that Steve Baker machine. We'll go high above the North Wilkesboro Speedway to take a look at this battle for the lead as they cross the line. 26 in of our 180 to make the distance a little bit higher entering turn 1. We'll see if that pays off for Ryan Nolan. Man, he gets a run down the back straightaway. Just enough pressure on the back bumper of that 55 machine, but is he able to make or finish the deal, so to speak? Not able to do so there as the leaders continue to battle. And not far behind these two, we'll find Travis Smith. So he's lurking. If anything possibly happens between these two, he'll have that 95 machine right up there in the thick of it. Once again, Steve Baker showing the way in that 55 machine. He's got the 87 just behind him on Nolan, just a little loose coming off of turn 4 there. Back down to the bottom. Steve Baker hugging that inside groove. He's going to make Nolan go to the outside, or he's going to make Nolan have to move him to make it happen. But for right now, he holds true as Ryan Nolan definitely looks like he's better in 3 and 4. But it's Steve Baker that's much better in 1 and 2 right now as they work around North Wilkesboro Speedway. Race number 4 of the RFC Throwback Series. We thank you so much for joining us here on a Tuesday night. Glad to be back in the booth. Glad to be back with you, and as always on the YouTube channel. If you like and share and all that good stuff, you can feel free to let us know. Seeing some folks up there, and looks like Michelle Snare. Tough, tough, tough. Yeah, it's right. It's a hard track. Very hard. Steve Baker now starting to go through some of that lap traffic. I knew it would be, it wouldn't take long if these drivers kept green. It wouldn't take them long to get into some of that lap traffic. They get around Chris Legou. He drops back to the 17th spot. Looks like he is going to be the first car to go 1 lap down. And with that being said, Steve Baker a little bit of distance now. Looked like he's pulled Ryan Nolan since he got around some of that lap traffic. So there you see that 87 machine. Absolutely love that 87 car. Just something about that look. As we take a look, and why don't we go inside? We'll take a look right off of the inside of that race car to where you can go inside and feel really where these drivers are working. What's it look like to be inside of one of these classic 87 machines? Well, there you go. That is a great look off of the right shoulder of Ryan Nolan as he tries to run down our leader as we work through our race here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. He's been all over his bumper, but yet able to capitalize. Not able to seal the deal yet, but they are about to be inside of all kinds of lap traffic as Ryan Nolan now continues to close in on Steve Baker, and that lap traffic could play a factor, especially here at a short track. As that battle for the lead edges so much closer. Right up ahead of him is actually our pole sitter. Yeah, that's right, our pole sitter, Justin Rigsby. He set on the point. Right now he's 15th, and if you look back just in the distance, he is just barely in front of our leaders as Steve Baker and Ryan Nolan start to close in on the back bumper now of that 49 of Justin Walters. We mentioned that car earlier in the evening. Love the colors. Love the 49 machine of Justin Walters as we have 35 in of our 180 scheduled here from North Wilkesboro. That battle for the lead, we go back to that. Steve Baker out front showing the way, a 2-time winner this season. He is trying to hold off Ryan Nolan, who has, he's been there. He's been all over the back bumper of that 55 machine, just not able to capitalize. And, you know, these drivers could very well be looking towards pit stops soon. As you take a look, 35 laps on these tires so far. Nobody there in the top 8 has visited pit road. So we'll see if possibly that pit window will start to open up for these drivers if we don't see a caution here in the next little bit. So far, so good. Green flag racing here from North Wilkesboro in the 87 Throwback Series. Nolan there once again, much better off of 3 and 4. Of course, if I had to pick a set of turns I would want to be better at, I would want to be better in 3 and 4 because the paychecks get handed out off of turn 4, but we'll see if that makes a difference. Now, let's go back in the field to Travis Smith. Smith running in the 3rd spot, somewhat by himself. He's got a little bit of a gap till you find Damon Cox, who's holding steady right now in the 5th spot. Brian Snare, he is hanging on to, he's in the 5th spot. It was Damon Cox in the 4th spot, so Damon has moved up. And here comes Stephen Page. He's rallied somewhat nicely in that number 1 machine. He is just outside of the top 5 in that 6th spot. As we race and put down laps, coming to 40 complete in our 180, and Ryan Nolan, once again, he's back on the bumper of Steve Baker as they battle off of turn 2. Baker just kind of clips the curb. We'll see if lap traffic could play a factor here as we close in on 50 laps complete working here at North Wilkesboro. 41 in the books now. It has been Steve Baker all the way. Kind of a race recap. Justin Rigsby set fast time in qualifying, but man, something happened at the start of the race. He dropped 13 spots in really the blink of an eye. So he is the biggest, I would say, biggest loser of the race so far. Biggest gainer, 11 spots in this long green flag run, and that's Eric Blunt right there in that number 6 machine. He's up 11 spots into the 7th position. He's got Dylan Blankenship there. Dylan's kind of followed him through this green flag run, so not a bad run at all, as it looks like possibly Blankenship might have some issues there. There we go. Looks like he's back solid now. But the battle for the lead creeps closer and closer to lap traffic as they get around the 49 machine of Justin Walters. They'll put him 1 lap down, and now they roll in, or it looks like they start to reel in Gordon Larson Jr. just ahead of them. 43 in of our 180 laps that make up the event, the first Union 160 here from North Wilkesboro. We thank you for joining us as always. Remember, like and share anything you find with the Turn 3 Racing Network. And by the way, you can always like and share the RFC Throwback Series on Facebook. Couple of shout outs there on the YouTube channel. Looks like Dustin Kenyon. Well, hello, Dustin. Thanks for joining and watching the broadcast. Also, looks like I see the Muth in the booth. He is on there as well as we watch Steve Baker cruise around this half mile here at North Wilkesboro with at ease so far. He's had a couple of little challenges from Ryan Nolan, but Nolan not able to capitalize. But for the first time all night, you see right there is 3 cars somewhat in a cluster in front of our leader. We'll see how Gordon Larson Jr. handles. About to go a lap down. We'll see if he tries to fight to stay on that lead lap. If he does, that's going to reel in Ryan Nolan once again as we'll go high atop. One more chance. We'll go above North Wilkesboro. As there you see Gordon Larson Jr. putting the pressure on the back bumper of Dustin Pink, saying, hey, man, we got to go. And now this is not what Steve Baker wanted to see. 2 by 2 out of turn 2. Nowhere to go for the lead of the 55. But it doesn't look like Ryan Nolan's going to have an opportunity to capitalize. And look at that. Steve Baker drives through the middle, and he makes it 3 wide for a moment. But now he's put that 2 wide roadblock in front of second place, and Nolan's going to have to be careful here or he's going to find himself losing ground quickly. It looks like, well, to his advantage, Dustin Ping's going to get out of the way, and that's going to leave Gordon Larson Jr. as right now being the lucky dog. 1 lap down to our leader, Steve Baker, and here we go, creeping towards lap 50 just like that. In a hurry, they are putting down laps fast and furious here at North Wilkesboro. Steve Baker still on the point, showing the way just in front of Ryan Nolan and Travis Smith in the 3rd spot. And once again, we've not seen those green flag pit stops yet, so we'll continue to see if they change anything. Pit road could be huge. This is not an easy pit road by any means, especially the entry on the pit road, kind of a blind pit road entry. Once you get to turn 3, you'd better be down and ready to go. Baker working on the bottom, and there you see that yellow cone. I mean, you're simply, you got to turn left and turn left in a hurry to fade down as Steve Baker now working on lap traffic all the way up to 13th. And that is our pole sitter as, well, first off, he's going to work around Chris Legou. Now he's onto the back bumper. Our pole sitter, the guy that sat on the front row, first spot, Justin Rigsby in 13th. He is now under attack from our leader, Steve Baker. Baker to the bottom. Rigsby looks like, well, there for a moment is going to give him the whole bottom of the racetrack. but Baker not able to capitalize there in turns 1 and 2. We'll jump back and see if we can find some more interesting battles as Damon Cox now, he's still in that 4th spot. Brian Snare in that classic 43 machine. Loving the colors as I look back into the further back, and Dustin German, the winner at Darlington, he's trying to hold off Stephen Page, and here comes our good buddy Darkside Dave. There he is, the 25. Darkside Dave in the Turn 3 Racing Network number 25 machine. He's up 4 spots, all the way close to the top 10. Well, now he is in the top 10. So Darkside Dave has worked his way into that 10th spot. Oh, and just right into that outside retaining wall. But I will say this, these cars are some of the toughest cars you're going to see on iRacing. You can beat and bang these machines and still have a really good opportunity at going to victory lane. And right now, Steve Baker is putting them up and putting them down. 55 laps in to our 180 lap feature we've got here from North Wilkesboro. As Baker continues to show the way. Taking a rundown through your top 10, it's Steve Baker out front. Ryan Nolan there in that 2nd spot. Taking a look back to 3rd, you find Travis Smith. Into the 4th spot, it is Damon Cox in his 57 machine. Out of the 5th spot, it is Brian Snare. Snare now under attack, and we'll watch this battle for a moment. You've got Eric Blunt there in the 6th. He's going to go underneath of that 43 machine. Well, I thought he was. He pulled back the brakes a little harder. As a little loose there for Snare off of turn 2. And Eric Blunt in the 6th spot. Dylan Blankenship, he's right there in the 05 machines running 7th. Dustin German, the winner at Darlington, is 8th. Stephen Page 9th. And here comes our 10th place driver, Darkside Dave. Dave Worrells there just trying his best to get around that number 1 tracker machine of Stephen Page. Not able to do it. Might actually use the bumper there. Darkside Dave going to go to the bottom. Not able to capitalize. We'll see if he can roll the bottom of the racetrack, and I think Page may actually go ahead and give him the bottom of the racetrack. Drivers sorting through and around here at North Wilkesboro, and there you see our leader. Once again, it is Steve Baker out front, and a little bit of breathing room as he's been able to get through this lap traffic much better than Ryan Nolan. Nolan's not really been able to capitalize on the lap traffic like Steve Baker has, as right now Baker shows the way. 60 laps are complete of the 180 here at North Wilkesboro, and interesting to see, we start to see these pit road opportunities open up here soon. Some of these drivers might actually try and make this on 2 stops. We'll see how things shake out. Steve Baker, Ryan Nolan. There for a moment thought we was going to have a heated battle for the top spot, but for the most part, nothing. Yeah. Ryan Nolan not able to get through that lap traffic as we've seen Baker take him 3 wide, and right in front of him, here we go, side by side once again, Stephen Page, Matthew McMeekin. Now they're battling, and right there we go with Stephen Page rather. He goes around and stops on the front straightaway. No caution. The RFC Throwback Series official sees him get things straightened back up, and the caution flag will not fall. So Page able to woe it down on the front straightaway, no caution. We'll see if we can't get our Turn 3 Racing Network crew to get us a look. Maybe what happened. That's him diving off there into turns 3 and 4. McMeekin to his outside. Looks like maybe that car a little bit loose. Yeah, a little loose off of 4. Hard into that inside retaining wall. As you see there, not a lot of damage on that number 1 machine. So we stay green. Page going to lose a ton of spots. He's back into the 15th spot now. Page still out for, or Baker rather, still out front. Looking to that 2nd spot, it is Ryan Nolan. But right now, a lot of lap traffic between Stephen Page and Ryan Nolan. For the most part, that 55 machine has been on a rail. And if it gives you any indication, he has lapped all the way up to the 8th place car. Dustin German being 8th. And he is literally right there in front of Steve Baker. An impressive performance, to say the least. Once again, you know, we've not seen a caution, which I think that's kind of been the reason we've seen these laps tick away and we've seen these big drivers go 1 lap down, simply because Page seems like he's got such control of that 55 machine. We seen him a couple of weeks ago, or actually a few weeks ago at Daytona. It looked like a lot of drivers were struggling with their race car. He just looked like he got better as the race went on, especially there in the closing laps as you see him work underneath the 28 Haviland machine of Dustin German, putting him a lap down. That is now only 7 cars on the lead lap. And if you look ahead, right in front of Steve Baker, right there's that 7th place car of Brian Snare. So definitely a tear so far around North Wilkesboro. It has been all Steve Baker showing the way. 2nd place Ryan Nolan there for a brief second, but not able to capitalize about 20 laps ago, and now he is mirrored back almost a full straightaway back from our leader. Travis Smith's in the 3rd spot. He's working there outside of turn number 4. He is quite a few ways back, and Damon Cox, you can see Damon there. He's starting to sort his way through some of that lap traffic as well as we approach lap number 70 of our 180 that we have got to make up the field. And one of the battles they're telling me right now is Stephen Page. Looks like he might have got around Dustin Ping. That battle for 13th, as we'll go and take a look at that just a few moments ago. There you go. Looks like Page just simply worked to the bottom. Ping said, no problem, man. It's all yours. Damon Cox, really good ride for him. I call him the Iron Man in the RFC series. He leads a couple of series with the most starts. Always one of the nice guys on the racetrack, but trying to win, trying to get there, and right now steadily inside of the top 5. But there is the man to beat. We take a look at Steve Baker. He is out front solidly. Now only 7 drivers on the lead lap as we have 72 laps in the books of our 180 that make up the distance here from North Wilkesboro. We appreciate you watching, of course, as always, with the Turn 3 Racing Network. No matter who you've got on the broadcast, we always like to hear from you, like to say hello, and I was reading some of the comments earlier. As they work through the racetrack, they continue just to simply just make things look easy. And these cars are an absolute handful. Had a chance to get in the Turn 3 Racing Network cutaway car earlier this evening. Now let me get in that thing from time to time. And I'm telling you what, it is not easy to get these race cars. These are some heavy race cars to get them to work around this racetrack and make them look smooth. But right now, Steve Baker has done so. And he's going to try to get to pit road. You've seen how difficult it was for him to get that 55 machine woed down. But it looks like he is on pit road, and our leader may give up the lead this time. We'll see if Travis Smith decides to come down pit road. No, Smith will stay out, so it will be Travis Smith going to the point as Steve Baker decides to bring it in and take a pit stop. And by the way, Ryan Nolan, he came in and made some adjustments as well. So right now, Nolan all the way back mirrored it in that 14th spot. So maybe he had some trouble. May have led to that, but right there you see Steve Baker on pit road making some adjustments. As he comes off pit road, we'll see how things shuffle out. But your leader, it is Travis Smith showing the way now. First time we've had a new leader. Smith in that 95 machine. We'll see how long it is before he decides to come down pit road, as we have 76 laps in the books, this time coming to 77 of our 180 to make up this evening's event. Damon Cox with the pit road shuffling has got all the way up to that 2nd spot, so good run. Good run for both Damon Cox and for Travis Smith. Eric Blunt with the pit road adjustments. He is up to the 3rd spot. So we'll see how things kind of shake out, as right now it looks like the 34 of Doug Wasaki. He's on pit road. Absolutely loving that 34 car this week. The classic look on that machine. Now here's Steve Baker on the back bumper of our current leader, Travis Smith. Smith's going to dip to the bottom. I believe that's his cue that he is going to come on to pit road, and he will. Our leader, Travis Smith, is on pit road. Right in front of him, look like Justin Rigsby. Yeah, Justin Rigsby's on pit road as well as Doug Wasaki's coming off. So green flag pit stop's well underway, and that will put Dustin Ping out front as we have 80 in this time by of our 180 that we have got to make up the distance here from North Wilkesboro. Green flag pit stops continue to shuffle through. That means we are going to take a break, and we will come back. More racing here from North Wilkesboro on your home for the RFC Throwback Series, the Turn 3 Racing Network. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro. You haven't missed anything. We continue to see green flag laps put down here in the First Union 160. There you look at that number 6 machine of Eric Blunt. He is the leader, but it looks like he is going to bring that race car to pit road, which means he will relinquish the lead to the guy that has been dominant so far. Right there you see him. That is Steve Baker. He is going to back out front. And, of course, very familiar second place now, Ryan Nolan. So it is Steve Baker. He has a 3-second advantage right now. In 3 seconds at a half-mile racetrack, that is like an eternity. So we'll see if we can't find some other battles around the racetrack. Man, oh man, third place car of Travis Smith. He's in all kind of trouble. And by the way, I do want to say that we take a look right in front of him, that 43 machine. That is Mitchell Snare. He is piloting the 43 for his dad, Brian Snare, so we apologize. Actually just seen that pop up. That is Mitchell Snare in that 43 machine. And man, oh man, all kinds of racing going on. We take a look at Travis Smith. He's trying to get through this. He is third right now, well behind our leaders, Ryan Nolan and Steve Baker. We'll see how long Travis Smith is willing to sit here and patiently work through this lap traffic, as only 8 drivers find themselves on the lead lap at the moment, with 90 laps in, closing in on getting ready to be right there inside of the main part of this race, as we've seen green flag pit stops now officially. We'll see how things shake out here towards the final stretch. You're just joining us, welcome. The RFC Throwback Series back at it here at North Wilkesboro. 4th race of the season. Looking for possibly our 3rd different winner, but they are going to have to dethrone the guy that has been dominant here and already has 2 wins on the young season. That is that man right there in the 55 machine of Steve Baker. Had somebody just send a Facebook message saying, hey, we love the inside shot of the way Steve Baker is working around this racetrack. So why don't we do that one more time? Let's go inside of that number 55 machine. There you go. That's that helmet cam. This might be the coolest cam we got. Check it out as we work around North Wilkesboro with our leader, Steve Baker. Making it look easy as he cruises around the bottom of this half mile here at North Wilkesboro. And as you see, man, he is all over that inside curve. Take a look on the inside. I mentioned that curve very similar to what you're going to have at Martinsville coming up here in just a bit. Now watch this right here. He'll dive off into turn 3, and that curve, you touch that curve, it changes the whole direction of that race car. And man, oh man, you cannot get any closer than what Steve Baker is doing right now working around this racetrack, and that's why he continues to show the lead. It is Baker, Nolan, and now Travis Smith still in that 3rd spot. He finds himself well back. He was battling all kinds of lap traffic there just a little bit ago. Looks like things will kind of sort out for him. But take a look at some of the other drivers hanging on to the lead lap. The 05 of Dylan Blankenship, the number 6 machine of Eric Blunt, Matthew McMeekin in the 14 car, and then Justin Rigsby, who has really dramatically made some improvements. That car looked like it may have been dead to right there about 15 laps ago, but he's got that thing back up into the top 10, so we'll see how the rest of his race goes. But right now, they are all following the guy that is out front, and it's that man right there, Steve Baker, continuing to dominate as we get closer and closer to that 100 lap mark. If you're wondering at home, cautions, well, we haven't had any so far. It has been, pretty much a dominant performance of green flag laps from Steve Baker as he closes in on 100 laps here from North Wilkesboro. Make it look easy, I will say that. Definitely cruising around this racetrack, just simply working to the bottom, working methodically around these turns here at North Wilkesboro. Not an easy place at all. Not an easy racetrack. Very bumpy, not smooth to say the least. And by the way, I do want to give a shout out to the folks in Bristol. Hey, we're coming to you next. The Valleydale Meet 75 laps coming to you from Bristol Motor Speedway. That's right. That's where we're going to be at coming up next Tuesday night. Mark your calendars. And then, of course, we go back restrictor plate racing. We're going to Talladega the Winston 85 will be there in just a couple of weeks as well. So that's some of the big series events that we have coming up. And, of course, still on the schedule, Charlotte, Dover, Pocono. We'll go back to Daytona, and then we'll end, of course, the season at Talladega for the big 100-lap main event. But right now, Steve Baker, we have hit the 100-lap mark. He continues to show the way, working around here at North Wilkesboro in the RFC Throwback Series, presented by our good friends at Ohio and Indiana Roofing, and, of course, Blackhawk Motorsports, and Racing for a Cause. Great cause. And, by the way, while you're on Facebook, you can always check out everything in the RFC Racing for a Cause Facebook pages. And if you'd love to get more information, feel free to simply send a Facebook message if you'd like more details. Steve Baker showing the way, dominating, and, you know, I say that thinking you might be bragging on him a little much, but that is exactly what he's been doing. Now he's got himself maybe the biggest lead of the race. He is 4 seconds out in front of second place Ryan Nolan. And, you know, Nolan held tough there for a while. There was about a 10-lap stretch where I thought Nolan may be the quicker car. But Steve Baker managed through that lap traffic, and ever since then he has kind of set sail, as right now Ryan Nolan trying to hold off, looked like Eric Blunt there in that 6 machine. Travis Smith in the 3rd spot. And from what I'm seeing, watching the telestrator go by, only the top 3 drivers now are on the lead lap. So you're looking at Baker, Nolan, and Smith. That is your top 3 currently, and they're the only drivers right now hanging on to the lead lap. So very interesting to see how that will shake out as we carry on further into this race. 105 laps into the 180-lap main event that we have here at North Wilkesboro, and you're taking a look there at the 95 machine of Travis Smith. And while we've got him, why don't we go inside of that 95 machine? A little bit different line in 3 and 4 than what we saw Baker there. You see the tail end of that car just simply kick out. It's what I absolutely love about these old cars. And with Travis having that little bit of dirt background, you got to know he's ready to work that wheel if need be. And what's really cool, take a look down on the bottom of your screen. You see that fan? That is to keep the drivers cooled off. Yeah, and that is something. Oh, and Travis loose off of turn 4. What a save in that number 95 machine. Almost lost it off of turn 4. But, yeah, that fan down there working to keep things cool down at the driver's feet because, you know, these old cars, not the modern air-conditioned technology that we're used to seeing now in those NASCAR Cup cars. So whatever it takes, even if it is a small office fan at your feet. Taking a look at some of the other battles around the racetrack. Of course, Damon Cox, he was really solid in the top 5 there in the first running. Not sure if maybe some issues on pit road. I'm seeing the right front of that race car, maybe a little bit of damage to, yeah, most definitely a little bit of damage to the right front fender of that 57 Autism machine. He's gone all the way back into that 9th spot. And I was taking a look to see if we could find David Worrells, and I believe Dark Side Dave may have pulled it in. Maybe some trouble for that 25 machine, as I was seeing some of the drivers not on the racetrack right now. But this guy is most definitely on the racetrack, 70 laps away from picking up what could be his 3rd win in 4 races here in the RFC Throwback Series, and that is Steve Baker. Steadily out front, showing the way. We're getting closer to that long stretch, possibly to finish this one out here at North Wilkesboro. Stay right there. We've got more laps coming up of the First Union 160 here from North Wilkesboro on your home for everything E-Speed, the Turn 3 Racing Network. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro, where it is Steve Baker showing the way here from one of the most iconic, classic racetracks there is, the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And man, oh man, it has been his race for sure as we continue to see him put laps up and put them up very quickly here from the RFC Throwback Series, Racing for a Cure. Of course, we're always hoping that you're joining us and having a great time on the Facebook page. Like and share as always. No matter who's in the booth calling the races here at the Turn 3 Racing Network, we love to say hello to you. We love to salute you in any way we can. And right now, the driver's putting on a show, that is for sure, as it is Steve Baker manhandling the field, so to speak, now with a 6-second advantage on second place Ryan Nolan. Yeah, and when I say a 6-second advantage, that is absolutely insane to see what he has been able to accomplish. Ryan Nolan, by the way, he is mirrored back there in some lap traffic. You see him working on the back bumper of that 14 Busch Light machine of Matthew McMeekin. Now, McMeekin is running in the 5th spot, and of course, already a lap down. Top 3 drivers, the only drivers on the lead lap, and I think we've already got some action on pit road. Looks like we're going to see Travis Smith. Smith's going to be the first cars, one of the first cars out of our top lead lap group to come to pit road. So maybe this is a strategy to possibly set up Smith for the rest of the way. But will that strategy work out? Will we start to see some of these leaders push it just a little? We'll find out, because if you take a look at pit strategy, they went 74 laps on that first green flag stint. That was what Steve Baker did. He's 49 laps in, so we will see exactly how things shape out as we get further into this event. We'll see if Baker is going to have to make another pit stop. I would think that he would need to, but we'll see if this pitting early will cause anything as far as a shakeup goes, as Travis Smith now finds himself back in 12th place, 2 laps down. So we'll see how the cards play out. 125 laps in the books. Only 2 drivers on the lead lap. The guy you're seeing there on your screen, Steve Baker. And then you go back to the second spot. It is Ryan Nolan. And yes, you can see his race much more entertaining. He's having to dart through all kinds of lap traffic as he works still on the back bumper of that 14 of Matthew McMeekin. Let's go back inside of that number 87 machine and get a good look at that battle as he works down into 1 and 2. Yeah, you can see a little squirrely there off of turn 2. These cars not easy to drive at all. We seen a few moments ago, Travis Smith got that thing completely sideways off of turn 4. And Ryan Nolan now, and you got to be wondering if there's a little bit of pressure or a little bit of anger building up underneath that helmet. He knows that he is, he's second in this race, and you got a car that's a lap down, just somewhat kind of in the way. And Matthew McMeekin is that. He is in the 5th spot, so still hanging on to a top 5. Now the driver behind him, fresh tires. That's the 95. That's Travis Smith, so he's trying to make a valiant effort. Oh, and Nolan's loose, way loose off of turn 2, and man, oh man, Travis Smith cut Ryan Nolan a big break. He could have used the bumper and sent him around, but you got to think that Smith might actually, and Nolan's diving onto pit road. Ryan Nolan, man, locked up that left front tire to get that 87 machine in. So there you go, second place onto pit road. Now, will we get our leader to come to pit road, Steve Baker? It's not going to be this time. He crosses the line, 130 laps on the board over 180 here from North Wilkesboro. So far, caution-free. First time we've been able to do this in the RFC Throwback Series all season long, and 180 laps make up the distance, and so far they have been caution-free at one of the toughest tracks we're going to see on the schedule. We mentioned next week we go to Bristol. That's right, Bristol Motor Speedway next week. Interesting event there indeed. This is the half mile. Next week is a half mile, but we're going to add about 12 degrees of banking and make it interesting. And now Baker dives onto pit road. So here comes our leader, Steve Baker. He is going to come to pit road. We will see how things shake out. Dylan Blankenship right now, he is 1 lap down. I'm almost certain he's going to make up that lap as we get our leader on pit road. So we will see as Blankenship works off of turn 2. Well, I say that, looks like he's having some issues. So we will zone in on Eric Blunt. Blunt's in the 3rd spot right now, currently in that number 6 machine. And there we see Blankenship. He dives onto pit road, so maybe got things figured out. But it's Eric Blunt. He's now showing the point. 132 laps into our 180-lap main event here at North Wilkesboro. Working through this 180-lap main event, we've seen Steve Baker out front. We saw Travis Smith get out front for a little bit. Our pole sitter earlier in the night, Justin Rigsby, wonder how his night's going. Well, right now, he's climbed back up into that third spot. Rigsby's up into the third spot, now on the lead lap, so we'll see how things shake out. What kind of dominating performance has Steve Baker had? Well, he took a pit just about 3 laps ago, and you're wondering where things shake out. Well, he's already back to second. Come off pit road, such a good pit stop. His crew got him off in second place, so we'll see if he can run down our leader. As you see, all kinds of traffic there. Mitchell Snare in that 43 machine pulls out right in front of, looks like Justin Rigsby, and also back there, not a bad run for Justin Walters on the outside, and all kinds of racing going on. But our leader is Eric Blunt. For now, he's showing the way, but I want you to take a look just to his backside. Here comes Steve Baker, and what a performance. Baker drives underneath the 6 machine and retakes the lead. And, well, the things that could shake out from here on out, if no caution flies, he's good to go on fuel, good to go on tires. And right now, he has the advantage because he is the leader, for one, we'll say that. And plus, he has only 5 cars on the lead lap, and I'm taking a look at the pit times. 2 of those have been on pit road. That would leave Ryan Nolan and Travis Smith, the drivers that have already pitted. So as we start to see laps wind down here from North Wilkesboro, it is the 55 of Steve Baker. He is showing the way, working through what is lap 138 here from North Wilkesboro. Caution-free laps. Caution-free indeed, and we just now had a change. Looks like Ryan Nolan's up to the 3rd spot. The Turn 3 Racing Network camera crew going to capture that as Ryan Nolan works underneath of Justin Rigsby. Rigsby allows that 87 car to come through. And just like that, Nolan's going to be up to that 3rd spot. But here is the big question. Is he going to be able to run down our leader? That guy right there, Steve Baker. For the moment, the answer has been no. He has been dominant. He has been solid. Very similar to what we've seen him do at Atlanta earlier this year, and so far so good for that 55 machine. We'll jump back to Eric Blunt, and Eric Blunt looks like he is cruising in that 2nd spot. He's had somewhat of a good evening. Blunt's up to that 2nd spot right now, just in front of Mitchell Snare. Oh, there's all kinds of caution, all kinds of craziness up there in turns 3 and 4. There's still no caution flag. No caution flag has waved, but definitely looked like there was an accident up there in turns 3 and 4. Take a look back and see what might have happened. There's Eric Blunt diving off into turns 3 and 4. Still not seeing any accident. Definitely looks like there was something going on there in 3 and 4, but no caution. Not seeing anything. This is Rigsby diving off. Oh, yeah, he gets loose in turn 3 up into the outside retaining wall. Dustin Ping gets collected. But no caution. We have stayed green through that, and Steve Baker now continues to show the lead. And I thought there for a moment we was going to have a battle for the lead because Ryan Nolan looks to have run him down. But unfortunately, Nolan is racing pretty much to unlap himself. So how hard will Steve Baker run that car to keep Ryan Nolan 1 lap down? We'll see as we close in on 40 laps. We're inside of that 40 lap to go mark. Not real sure on that incident that happened a few moments ago. Thought maybe that would bring out the caution, but it looked like Stephen Page was able to come through that accident. I thought that was Dustin Ping, but it was Stephen Page able to come through that accident when we've seen Justin Rigsby get up into that outside retaining wall, but no caution. We stay green, and Steve Baker continues to show the way. We'll check on Travis Smith. Smith was making up a little bit of ground, but now he's outside of the top 5 as he starts to work on the back bumper of Matthew McMeekin. Now, that is a battle for 5th place. McMeekin sits right now in the 5th spot. Behind them, Stephen Page and Dustin German. And you see that 34 machine there creeping up in the background. That's Doug Wasaki. He's running in that 11th spot. But so far, it's been all the 55 machine of Steve Baker showing the way out front. Him and Eric Blunt, the only 2 race car drivers on the lead lap right now. That's what this green flag run has done. It has simply put this whole entire field at bay to what Steve Baker has been able to do, and nobody's been able to unravel, so to speak, what he's done, as Eric Blunt now just in front of Justin Walters there. Walters going to go to the bottom. Also looks like Chris Legou is going to come there as well in that 71 machine. Eric Blunt now to be second place. He's in all kinds of traffic. And I want you to look here. Here comes Steve Baker. That is the leader. He has now single-handedly ran down Eric Blunt, and we now have only one driver on the lead lap. You want to talk about dominating this. It has been forever since I've seen someone just simply lap the field, and that is what he has done in that 55 machine. Just got around Eric Blunt, and now with 151, this time by complete, Steve Baker manhandling things here at North Wilkesboro here in the First Union 160. It is the Turn 3 Racing Network. We creep closer to wrapping up things here at North Wilkesboro, and when we come back, we will take you the rest of the way. We'll finish it out with the RFC Throwback Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
This racetrack, he has been absolutely second to none in 1987. Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win, his fourth win of 1987 out of 6. Dale Earnhardt wins the First Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
Everyone's wondering what can stop Dale Earnhardt. He's on a roll, 4 wins and 6 starts. I mean, is there anybody can handle you?
There may be a little more here underneath the sheet metal.
Well, I'm sure this afternoon we'll know a lot more, and we've got 500 miles to run. We'll see what happens.
Good luck today.
Our magnificent 19th annual $500,000 Talladega 500 is won by Johnsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott, and the siren is beginning to ring. You'll probably hear it in Dahlonega. Bill Elliott has won. Davey Allison.
Elliott now getting a challenge from
Watching the RFC Throwback Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network. The RFC Throwback Series is brought to you by Ohio and Indiana Roofing and Blackhawk Motorsports. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro, where, as you see, Steve Baker has just been dominating the event here at this historic half mile. Steve Baker has lapped the entire field, and I say that because he has done it pretty much dominantly. I mean, he has been the driver to beat. He has been out front most of this race, and with 22 laps to go, finds himself out front. His next closest competitor is Ryan Nolan, and there, as you see Baker work off into turn 3. Where do you find Ryan Nolan? Well, he's diving off into turn 3, but unfortunately 1 lap down. So that is how things shake out. 1 lap advantage for Steve Baker as he works on the back bumper now of Travis Smith. Smith, who had been running in the top 3 most of the event, is going to move up a groove and give Baker the bottom. Yes, it'll be Smith that moves up, and here comes Steve Baker underneath of him, and Baker will now work into turns 1 and 2. 20 laps to go. 20 laps to go here from North Wilkesboro in the RFC Throwback Series. We thank you so much for spending time with us here on this Tuesday evening, and what has been an absolutely beautiful Tuesday evening here at North Wilkesboro. I mentioned there just a few moments ago, I was reading on the YouTube page, Dustin Kenyon has commented and said this dude has lapped the entire field. Yes, he has. It has been a long time since I have seen a driver just simply dominate. And that's exactly what this SRTV Autism Awareness 55 machine has done. Baker single-handedly has just been dominant. The only time we haven't seen Baker out front in this event is when he's been on pit road, roughly. Now, if you want to go back to the very start of the race, it was Justin Rigsby who set fast time and started on the pole. His time was actually quicker than Baker's, but that didn't last very long. Baker got into that outside retaining wall and dropped back really quick, and since then he's been mirrored back all the way in that 15th spot. Actually has taken his 99 machine to the garage, so he is no longer on the racing surface. So if you're joining at home, you see that ticker that goes across the screen. You see all these drivers one lap down. That's because our leader, Steve Baker, has just simply been dominant here at this half mile at North Wilkesboro, one of my favorite racetracks on the schedule. And I would say, if I was guessing, Steve Baker is saying it is one of his favorites as well. I would think that at least. Cruising around North Wilkesboro at, a very steadily pace. As I mentioned earlier, make sure you join us. We are going to be at one of my, the home track, my home track, that is. It is going to be Bristol Motor Speedway coming up next Tuesday night. The Winston 70. We'll have that for you, and that happens coming up next Tuesday night. And then, of course, we head to Talladega, the Coca-Cola 100. We'll have that race for you coming up on October the 20th. We cruise towards Halloween. We'll be at Charlotte for the Budweiser 100. That happens on October the 27th, and that will set us up with only 3 races remaining: Dover, Pocono, Daytona, and then that sets us up for the championship night. That happens from one of my favorite places, Talladega, to say the least. Green flag laps continue. Now you see it up on the board. 13 green flag laps remaining here from North Wilkesboro, where that man, the 55 of Steve Baker, dominating to say the least. I was trying to think of a performance that I have seen a driver just simply dominate like he's done this evening. And I tell you, right off the top, I have not seen anybody do this in so long. I can't remember anybody dominating this. I think in the NASCAR Cup Series, Martin Truex Jr., the year he won the Coca-Cola 600, where he led 400-plus laps of, nearly 500 laps of the 600, 387 of the 400. I will get it right. My math, when I see all these numbers going across the screen, may not be exactly perfect. But yeah, nearly led all 400 laps of the Coca-Cola 600. That is what I compare this to. This is what we're seeing here in the First Union 160 from North Wilkesboro as we creep into the single digits now. That's right, 9 laps to go here from North Wilkesboro. Race number 4 of the 2020 RFC Throwback Series season. It has been all Steve Baker, to say the least. The 2-time winner looks like he is going to be, celebrating another victory. Rolls that 55 machine off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. We'll take a look at our YouTube side of things again. I want to give a shout out to, of course, we mentioned that it is Mitchell Snare in the driver's seat of that 43 machine. Want to give him a shout out. Yeah, I just now noticed that. Rick, appreciate the comment there, brother. 8 laps to go and counting. Right now, Steve Baker showing the way, and that has been something, it's been rather repetitive here this evening from North Wilkesboro Speedway as you see him cruise off of turn 4. He's working on the back bumper of Damon Cox. Cox, who had been running in the top 5 most of the evening, finds himself back there in the 8th spot, getting ready to unfortunately go another lap down to the 55 machine of Steve Baker, and it looks like Cox is going to allow Baker to have the bottom, and that 55 machine will roll off of turn 4, and it looks like now he will cross the stripe, and we are looking at 6. Make it 6 laps to go here from North Wilkesboro. No doubt about it, if you had to give away an award for who has the most dominant car, that 55 machine has been the driver to watch all evening long. And I go back to maybe one of the very first moves of the race. I go back to maybe lap number 20, 25, when he first got into lap traffic. This is when we started to see Ryan Nolan put a little pressure on the back of that 55 machine. You've seen him go between 2 cars, putting 2 cars a lap down in one turn. And I felt like when we seen that happen, it was pretty much lights out for the field if we did not see a caution, and we have not seen a caution through this entire event, which this will be the first time, I do believe, in the RFC Throwback Series that we have went caution-free. Out of turn 4, it is Steve Baker. He now has 3 circuits left here from North Wilkesboro. What do you say we go back inside of that car one more time to take a look inside of that 55 machine? Off of turn 4, and he dives down into turn 1. 2 laps to go. That's right, 2 laps to go for the 55 of Steve Baker. Dominating. Is there another word? I'm trying to think of another word that's even more dominant than dominating. I mean, he literally took this field to school, and now as the white flag will fly, flagman throwing the 1 to go. No doubt, he was a winner at Daytona to start the year. He took the checkered flag at Atlanta in race 2. Last week, missed out on the win at Darlington, but this time, out of turn 4, your winner for the 3rd time this season in the RFC Throwback Series, it is the 55 of Steve Baker. Baker will pick up his 3rd win in 4 races. 2nd place out of turn 4 is going to go to Ryan Nolan. 3rd place, and a solid 3rd place for Eric Blunt. What a way for him to rally things as Eric Blunt leads Matthew McMeekin to the line, Dylan Blankenship, Travis Smith, Brian Snare, Damon Cox, Doug Wasaki, and Gordon Larson Jr. will round out your top 10. But man, oh man, the man of the moment right there. You see him on the front straightaway in that 55 machine. Winning moment here in the RFC Throwback Series. It is Steve Baker for the 3rd time this season going to victory lane, and we're going to talk with him and, of course, our top 3 coming up in moments. This is the RFC Throwback Series on your home for everything E-Speed, the Turn 3 Racing Network. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro, the RFC Throwback Series. We wrap up race number 4 with a familiar face going to victory lane, that being Steve Baker. As we've got Steve Baker in victory lane, we're going to get to him in just a couple of moments as we get ready to go through our top 3. What a race it was. Short track racing, and to go caution free, that says a lot for these drivers here in the RFC Throwback Series. We go to our 3rd place finisher. 3rd place tonight, and a really good rally for this guy. We talk about our third place finisher, Eric Blunt. Eric, man, a good rally for this number 6 car. Felt like you had a decent car all night, but pit strategy there towards the end really helped you all really gain this top 3 podium finish.
It was, starting the back, hang out a little bit, save as much tire and fuel as we could. And we ran long on that first one, and it paid off in the end.
Well, man, when a driver goes to work like Steve Baker did tonight, tell us, does it put a lot of pressure on you, especially being out there knowing, you can't afford really to spend a lot of time on victory lane because he's just logging laps?
Oh, yeah. I mean, whenever you can finish in a whisper's hair, Steve, you've done a great job. That crew and that team they're on the ball. I mean, they're not champs for nothing.
Well, man, we want you to give some shout-outs and some love to some folks you've got on the side of that number 6 Ford Thunderbird.
I want to give a shout-out to Wifey, who lets me come out every weekend and run these things, and give a shout-out to HRL2 Motorsports and all the guys at this league and Throwback Series and all you guys in the booth. You do a great job for us. Thank you.
Derek Blunt, our third place finisher here tonight at North Wilkesboro. Great run for those guys. Well, we move up to the second spot, and I really felt like for a lot of the race, this guy had maybe the possibility of, maybe even contending with Steve Baker, but he got into some lap traffic. Steve was definitely able to move through that lap traffic a lot better. But, man, you got to be tickled. Ryan Nolan in the 87 machine. There for a long time, he was on the back bumper of that 55 machine, just not able to stay there through a lot of the race. I felt like maybe if you could have stayed close, it might have been a really good race towards the end.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was just, in the beginning there, I just wanted to keep pressure on him and hopefully he'd burn up his stuff, but I ended up just burning up my own stuff trying to keep up. And yeah, I just didn't really hit the lap traffic right. And I don't know, after that I just couldn't, was just trying to save and hold on to what I had. But yeah, he ran a good race. We had a pretty decent race, got tangled up with the lap car at the end there, but luckily we still had a pretty good gap and was able to hold on to second.
Well, let's talk about, this is the first time this series has went caution-free, and to do it at a place like this. This place, it's demanding. A lot of people look at this track, it's kind of a short track. It's kind of flat in a lot of ways, but, man, to go 180 laps around this place caution-free, it asks a lot of a driver.
Yeah, and I honestly, I kind of liked how it was caution-free. I could have used caution towards the end there, but, yeah, it made fuel strategy. I was trying to undercut Steve and trying to pit early with tires to gain some on him, but every time he would see it and just pit the next lap later, so it wouldn't help. But yeah, even then, just saving tires, and at the end of the run, the car is all over the place, so it made it fun. I enjoyed it, and yeah, it's been a while since I've run any of these races, or any iRaces for that matter, so to come home second, I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, man, you got a lot of folks on that race car. Tell us about them.
Yeah, I've got the Humane Society of America. Got to support your animals out there. Everyone's going through tough times, including animals. So if you can afford it, adopt an animal. Yeah, I want to thank you guys for putting on an awesome broadcast, and everyone for putting this series on. It's been fun to race.
Well, our second place finisher this evening really felt like in that first run he had a really good car, possibly could have maybe gave Steve a little challenge in the long run, but when it all shakes out, it looks like that Ryan Nolan tickled with that second place finish to Steve Baker. And, man, we appreciate you spending time with us.
Thank you.
It is Ryan Nolan, our third place finisher, and, well, that leaves one guy left to chat with, and that guy has, well, as I say, been what I call the dominating guy so far in this series. We move now to Steve Baker. Man, you got to be stoked. 3 wins in 4 races, and when I say I was looking for another word tonight, bigger than dominating. I don't know if there is another word, but man, this 55 car tonight was dominant.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. That's probably the best I've ever run anywhere. something about North Wilkesboro. I was chatting with a few of the guys at post-race, just able to get a rhythm better than most other short tracks, and had a blast tonight.
Well, man, let's talk 180 laps caution-free. I mean, that's something you don't see that at some of the big tracks, let alone a short track half-mile like this place. This is a very demanding racetrack, especially for a driver.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good to see all the a lot of respect out there tonight and a lot of clean racing. I think everybody had their awareness set to 100 tonight, so that was fun. But absolutely a tough track, and I think one of the funnest parts about it is that it kind of changes as the run goes on, so you have to sort of search around for grip every 10 laps or so because the line changes.
Well, man, we put North Wilkesboro in the rear view. Now we look to next week. We go to Bristol. You've got 3 races now under your belt, 3 wins in 4 races. Only raced Darlington, the one you didn't go to victory lane in. Tell us about Bristol next week, especially with this type of car.
I'm sure it'll be slick. This car usually is everywhere. But, yeah, that makes it 4 for 4 for mine and Dustin's team, Smoke Show Racing. So hopefully we can go out next week at Bristol and make it 5 for 5. Don't think I've ever won a league race there. So that would be definitely one to check the box by.
Man, that 55 machine is sharp. Tell us about the folks on the side of it.
Yeah, for sure. We've got Autism Speaks on the car this year, bringing awareness to that cause, SRTV Network, and Smoke Show Racing, like I said. So shout out to all them, and for you guys, Turn 3 Network, bringing the broadcast tonight. Always do a great job. Chris and Rick putting on the league, and everybody who's coming out to race. It was a lot of fun tonight.
Well, man, we appreciate you spending time with us. 3 wins and 4 races, and the team 4 for 4 after 4 races heading to Bristol. Man, congratulations, Steve, on another win.
Thanks, Cody.
Steve Baker, our winner here from North Wilkesboro. And, of course, that leaves us with only one thing left to do, and that is wrap up here from North Wilkesboro. What an event it was. What a race. A dominating performance. We talked about that from Steve Baker. And when I think about a dominating performance, I made the comment and said very similar to what we saw Jimmy Johnson do. You remember what he did in the Coca-Cola 600 in the Cup Series, and then what we was able to see out of Martin Truex Jr., his dominance in that. Very similar tonight, what we saw back then. So shout out to that team, and shout out to, really the entire group for putting things together. And with that being said, we're down to our final segment of the night. It's time for the results from tonight's First Union 160 from North Wilkesboro. Finishing on the top, and the only driver on the lead lap, it was Steve Baker coming home with the win. Ryan Nolan rounded out second, Eric Blunt third. It was Matthew McMeekin in the 4th spot, rounding out the top 5, and a solid finish for Dylan Blankenship in the 05. Travis Smith rallied back to get his car into the 6th spot. It was Mitchell Snare in the 43 filling in for Brian this week in the 7th spot. Damon Cox in the 57 machine in the 8th spot. Doug Wasaki 9th in his 34. Gordon Larson Jr. scores 8 top 10. He comes home in his 01 spot in the 10th spot. Last race winner, Dustin German at Darlington. He goes into the 11th spot. Stephen Page finishes 12th. Justin Walters 13th. Chris Legou 14th. Justin Rigsby, our pole sitter, rounded out 15th. Dustin Ping 16th. David Worrells is going to round out 17th. Rick Hammond 18th. Chad Meadows 19th. And that will wrap up the field. What a race it was. And if you like what you saw tonight, well, we are going to get ready to go to one of my favorite tracks of them all. It is Bristol Motor Speedway. We're going to do that next week, and we hope you will join us right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. It is the RFC Throwback Series presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing and Blackhawk Motorsports. My name is Cody Early. Until next time, we hope you join us at Bristol next Tuesday evening right here with the RFC Throwback Series.